Away from 8, let's catch up with Vincent Heeringa over at Idealog magazine, idealog.co.nz. Good morning, Vincent.
Morning, Wammo.
With the new edition of Idealog just hitting the streets as well.
Hot off the press.
Yeah.
So hot it's smoking.
What's on the cover?
Well, on the cover is a bald man. We specialise in bald men at Idealog.
You do seem to lately.
What's that?
You do seem to lately.
Yeah, well, you know, bald men's where it's all at.
Sure.
This particular bald man is called New Zealand's Mr. Fix-It. He is the Minister of Everything, Stephen Joyce. And he's got what used to be 4 different ministerial portfolios have all been merged into one under his guidance. I don't even think they have a name for it yet, but it's a massive merger of 4 different ministries into his area. Generally speaking, it's business.
He's the puppeteer, really, isn't he? He's the guy actually running the show.
He is what they call the inner of the inner cabinet. There's the 3. There's the Key, English, and Joyce. And one is kissing babies and meeting dignitaries. One controls the finances, and one does the rest. And Stephen Joyce is the one that does the rest.
Yeah.
Particularly around spending government money. And so he has been responsible, really, for this emphasis on science and R&D, and also on infrastructure. And what he's trying to do is, what he says he's trying to do, and why it was of real interest to us, is align business, education, skills and training, and bizarrely housing, don't quite get that one, but with this overarching need to have an innovative, knowledge-led economy. And so rather than us surviving on legs of lamb and bales of wool, we really have to have a knowledge-intensive economy. And the idea, whether it's going to happen or not, the idea really is to have one ministry that drives all of that spending and policy work around that central proposition of a knowledge-intensive IP, intellectual property economy.
Interesting, because how much of that is rhetoric and how much of that is actually action? Because the action that we are seeing at the moment is more about primary industries rather than this knowledge economy that we've talked about forever.
Well, we've got to stop separating those two things, Wammo. Science and research that goes into the agri-economy is extensive and fundamental to our future, and actually always has been. We've always been a very forward-thinking agri-tech economy. And so even the production of commodities from this tiny little place is fueled by a huge amount of science and R&D. So you can't separate the two, but you're absolutely right that there has been a lot of emphasis on helping farmers, on boosting the agri sector, and I suppose you'd be stupid not to. It occupies 60% of our economy. Or
now, I don't know if it's a media skew or what, but we see more talk about oil exploration and coal extraction than we do about innovative new science techniques and high-tech industry.
Yeah, that potentially it depends on how you interpret that, but yes, there has been, and I suppose what the other member of that inner cabinet, not the inner cabinet, is Jerry Brownlee, who's been pushing that agenda quite hard. The theory goes, whether it's correct or not, the theory goes that at the same time as investing in R&D, which does take a long time and takes sometimes a whole generation to shift, we also have to be exploiting our natural resources better and opening up conservation areas or opening up previously untapped areas for mineral exploration would be one of those resources that we need to tap into.
Okay,
that's the theory.
All right.
I don't know if it's going to work, but very interesting. And so he's on the cover, and that's the profile of the issue.
Yep.
And but one of the cool things, Wammo, about Idealog is that you read about people you've never heard of, and you probably never would have unless you read them on Idealog, and it's just absolutely bursting with young talent, designers, manufacturers, IT, software people, artists. Very cool, very inspiring.
Okay, brilliant. And the marketing awards are on the horizon as well.
Well, another hat that I wear is over New Zealand Marketing Magazine, and we this year are celebrating the 21st year of the TVNZ Marketing Awards, which is a partnership between us and TVNZ, and quite an interesting history really to go over those 21 years of where marketing has come from and where it's going to. It used to be very much the colouring in department of people who would take a product and do an advertising campaign around it. But marketing now is just so much more sophisticated and difficult as a discipline. It really is trying to elevate itself into into what they call the C-suite, which is up there with the chief executive and the chief financial officer. And these awards we're relaunching it with a whole proposition that everything is marketing. Doesn't matter what it is, you can call it marketing. So the website is everythingmarketing.co.nz, and that's where you can enter the awards in their 21st year.
So does that widen the catchment of potential sort of campaigns out there?
Yeah, absolutely it does. And it also tries to bust down the notion that marketing is about campaigns.
Right.
The best kind of marketing doesn't need a campaign because it's about product design. It understands what people need and want and delivers to them. And some great examples of that over time, but let's choose some really easy examples. And Apple, yes, they've done a little bit of advertising, but really the success of Apple is about great product design, and you've got to say that is one of the best marketing stories ever.
Yeah.
And there's lots of examples of that. I don't know, the Walkman. Again, can you remember the ad for the Walkman? You can't really. It's an example of where the product met the need. That's the best kind of marketing.
Another example would be IKEA as well, wouldn't it? And not that we have them here in New Zealand, but you'd be interested in this. There's news today that they are launching an IKEA TV. So they're normally in the business of furniture, but they're going to embed the TV inside a TV type cabinet, because what they're saying is that people are sick of all these cables running around behind this nice IKEA furniture. Why not just supply the technology as well as the furniture?
Exactly. Yeah.
I
mean, if you have great product design, you actually don't need salespeople, really, do you? Because the products should sell themselves. And so product design is only one aspect of marketing, but it's typically marketing gets mistaken for being campaign, advertising, or branding gets mistaken for a logo, and that communications end of marketing really is only one part. It's the most visible part, but if you like, that's the top of the iceberg, and what sits beneath should be great marketers. It's about strategy, thinking, and understanding your customers and aligning your customers with your products and what you do. And so that's what we're trying to celebrate. And why it's, most people, I guess, might say, well, who gives a toss unless you're a marketer? But why it really matters, Wammo, is that we are, excuse my French, we are shithouse at marketing ourselves internationally. We have very few brands internationally that you could say that New Zealand is very good at. 100% pure would be the easiest and by far the best. But over the years, we've ruined plenty of brands. Steinlager was doing very well internationally, but Lion managed to completely screw that up. Think of the wool mark. What a terrific logo and a brand story, but wool has been fundamentally broken for decades.
Yeah.
And so marketing really matters when it comes down to actually promoting New Zealand and New Zealand products internationally. And I believe it's one of the reasons we don't have multinationals from New Zealand. We're takers. We're not makers.
True.
And so marketing actually has quite a noble cause there, and that's what we're trying to celebrate.
All right. That website again?
everythingmarketing.co.nz.
Cool. Vincent Heeringa is also at idealogue.co.nz. Thanks very much. Chat to you next week.
Thanks very much.
Track here from the East.